5:20?
Yeah, that's 8:20. Yeah.
Okay.
Technology, folks. Humankind works so well. I love technology, but in the right place at the right time. We're in? Okay. The April 15th, 2020 meeting of the City Council is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. Please note customers CenturyLink Cox Communication may view this program in high definition on Channel 1002 and in standard definition on Channel 2. You may also watch this meeting live on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and on the Go Vegas app. The council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, may be viewed on the internet at www.kclv.tv/live. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m., also Friday 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., and Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 5 p.m. This building is protected by state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler systems. If alarms should activate during our meeting today, please evacuate using the exit, the rear of these chambers, going out to the mezzanine, proceeding out to the double doors, to the terrace, going back down the back staircase. For anyone who has difficulty with stairs, please check with a marshal or a fire official for assistance. Once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall at Lewis and First Streets. Employees wearing safety vests or city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related items on the agenda, citizen participation and public hearing items, we have available a speaker card, which you may complete and submit to the city clerk. Cards are available in the clerk's office or at the rear of these chambers. If you don't submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizen participation, or specified public hearing items. Please note if you parked in the parking garage across the street, a self-validation machine is located in the foyer between the council chambers and the security desk you walked through to enter these chambers. You must have your ticket with you to use the machine, but if you do not have your ticket, see security personnel when exiting for a validation coupon. Before we proceed with the agenda, would everyone please rise for the invocation given by Pastor Kaz Alici Persian Church of Las Vegas, and then remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
How are you?
We are well, thank you. We
It
could
looks
be
like
better,
a lot
but we're
happened.
healthy.
I'm sorry?
We're healthy, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, amen. It looks like a lot happened since we last met.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
afraid.
Today we ask for the presence of the Holy Spirit, that God be present here. We humbly come and we ask that we be blessed and today would be fruitful. Almighty God, we know that everything is in your sovereign control. Lord, we ask that you keep this new coronavirus from continuing to spread. Lord God, please be present now to people who need your loving touch because of COVID-19. May they feel your power of healing through the miracles as well as the care of doctors and nurses. Lord, take away the fear, anxiety, and feeling of loneliness from our people who want to be safe and are under home isolation. Give them a sense of purpose in pursuing health and protecting others from exposure to the disease. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and staff, they comfort me. Psalm 23. Lord, we are so grateful for all the medical staff who put their lives at risk, and people who continue to work each day so that all people are safe and able to eat. We also are thankful for our government officials who are on guard to keep the city business going as usual. We ask that you bless and protect our mayor, city councilmen, and women as they serve our city. Give them grace to handle this economic disruption and supplies shortage as we strive to survive during the coronavirus outbreak. We pray that they communicate clearly, truthfully, and calmly with each other and with the public, and that their message are received and heeded. May truth and empathy be the touchstone of people setting policies for our protection. Keep their bodies healthy as they serve our community, and please protect them all from contracting the new coronavirus. He has delivered us from such a deadly peril, and he will deliver us again. On him we have set our hopes that he will continue to deliver us as you help us by your prayers. 2 Corinthians 1, 10 to 11. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you very much. So 5, yes? Okay. We will be on agenda 5, but before we do that, this is truly an opportunity for having the bully pulpit as your mayor, and I'm going to take advantage of that before we begin our public comment. So good morning to all of you and to those of you who are here, and thank you for joining us today here in our City Hall chambers. Each one of us in front of you and online, who we will be calling upon throughout the morning, sought your vote to be elected as your representative on this city council. Whether for your individual ward, wards 1 through 6, or as me to be elected citywide, we asked for your support to let us lead this city, and you gave it to us. You elected us. Being your representatives, we each swore under oath to uphold the Charter of the City of Las Vegas, to support and uphold the laws and Constitution of the state of Nevada and of the United States of America. We swore to represent your government and to do the jobs that running this community demand. Thus, we are here doing exactly as elected to do, our jobs. Essential, multifaceted jobs. We do not have the freedom to sequester or stay at home unless we are either sick ourselves or caring for the homebound school-aged children that the state has ordered to be there, any more than do our first responders, to whom we are so indebted and so grateful. Those working in law enforcement, healthcare workers, even our volunteers who are lending support in so many jobs that have been deemed the only essential ones. We have to be here as your representatives. This shutdown has become one of total insanity, in my opinion, for there is no backup of data as to why we are shut down from the start. No plan in place how to move through the shutdown or how even to come out of it. According to experts with whom I have spoken, this virus is not going away. It's not going to be going away this month, next month, and much like the flu and other viruses that have impacted populations around the world, this virus, or a derivative thereof, will be part of what we work through going forward. We are a state, and I give this to you, Madam Clerk, and if you can hold it up so the camera can pick it up. We are a state of 3.2 million people, and we'll soon find out how that changes as we go through our census shortly. 2.3 of us live down here in southern Nevada. Tragically, we have already lost to this virus 128 individuals in Nevada, many with complications attributed in part to COVID-19. Let me assure you that our sympathies and condolences to those who've lost friends and loved ones. But let me tell you, with a population of 3.2 million living in Nevada, those whom we've lost represent less than 0.5% of our population, which has caused us to shut down the entire state and everything that makes Nevada unique. Of the estimated 900,000 who have lost their jobs, 300,000 have already filed for unemployment. 300,000 have filed for unemployment. These are families that no longer have the ability to buy food for their children and other loved ones, pay their bills, pay their rent, pay their mortgage, pay their car payment, or enjoy the life that they had prior to this shutdown. Parents have no income to feed their children and just meet basic costs. Small businesses and those on week-to-week paychecks have been forced to close. Entire savings that were invested in these small businesses are being lost or have already been lost. Hotels and restaurants, our entire tourism and convention industry business has been shut down. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. From my perspective, we must open our city. We must open southern Nevada, and we must open the state of Nevada. We cannot live going forward with the medical and health industry telling us that this virus is going to be around longer than a month or two, maybe even a year. We cannot keep our heads in the sand and think it's going to go away. We're adults with brains who can know what to do to wash our hands, to take all precautions not to spread this disease. But we cannot put our heads in the sand and think it's going to go away. From my perspective, I am asking, open the city, open Clark County, open the state. For heaven's sakes, for being closed is killing us already and killing Las Vegas, our industry, our convention and tourism business that we have all worked so hard to build. The longer we wait to do this, the more impossible it will become to recover and return to the home we all know and love. And we are here sitting in front of you, loving this community, appreciating being your representative, and looking forward as soon as possible. Remember the data. The data is less than 0.5% tragically have been lost. And the entire 3.2 million people have been brought to their knees. So we will move on to public comment, and I am not taking the privilege of that other than speaking for myself as your mayor in Las Vegas, elected by the totality citywide and all wards. So we are on Agenda 5. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items. If anyone submitted a speaker card who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium and state your name for the record. This is your opportunity to address the council, but the council is not able to respond or engage in dialogue. Madam Clerk, we will set the time at 1 minute, and I'm going to ask our city clerk at this point to read and inform us how the rest of the public comment will be handled, please.
Thank you. Good Mayor and Council. Viewers can follow along with the meeting by watching our live streams on KCLV, Channel 2, YouTube, and by accessing our meetings and agendas page on the city's website at lasvegas.primegov.com/portal/search. E-comments will be available for the public comment and public hearing items on the City Council agenda online at www.lasvegasnevada.gov/council comment and via email at citycouncillive@lasvegasnevada.gov. Note that comments received after an item has already been heard and acted upon will be included in the record without being read aloud. There may be a time limit imposed on comments read before the record, as it is standard practice when comments are made here in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and you will then, every time we are addressing a public comment period, you will speak to that for us.
Yes, I will. Thanks.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to agenda item 6. Business items for possible action. Any items from the 9 a.m. session that the council staff and/or applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Mayor Pro Tem Fiore.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 52, ROC 78317, applicant Arjun Hawalapai Way. We will be obeying this until May 20th, requested by myself. Agenda item 54, VAR-78229, applicant owner Michael and Ruby M. Kelsch, appeal of the approval of the Planning Commission on .14 acres at 717 South Mallard Street, is in abeyance to May 20th, 2020, and request by the applicant. And item 57, SDR 78245, applicant Mo Construction LLC, owner CVV LLC, on .43 acres at 3801 West Charleston Boulevard, in abeyance to May 6, 2020, as requested by Councilman Knutson. And that will be my motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. There's a motion. Would you please vote? And
Aye.
please, I want to, through all of this, and my apologies, I want to acknowledge our council persons that are on the phone. If you would do that, Madam Clerk, for me.
Councilman Creer?
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, and would you please post? And my apologies to those of you on the phone. And that motion carries. And agenda item 7 for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the March 18th, 2020 regular city council meeting. Mayor Pro Tem, again, may I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the minutes of the March 18, 2020 City Council meeting.
There's a motion to approve the minutes. Please vote. And please, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Creer?
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, and please post. And that motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll move on to agenda item 8. Agenda items 8 through 30 on the consent agenda are considered to be routine or recommended for approval by the departments and may be enacted in one motion. Note that the record should reflect my abstention on items 13 through 16 because they pertain to the marijuana-related businesses, and one of my sons is involved in that industry. I will be voting on all other items. And Councilwoman Seaman, I understand you wish to make a comment regarding?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I wish to make a comment on item 8. As we face another request for $100,000, my hope and desire remains for both sides of the dispute, the property owner and the surrounding homeowners, to come together, compromise, and reach a resolution that works for all parties. I will do everything in my power as the representative of everyone in Ward 2 to help achieve such an outcome. In the meantime, I must also do what is best to defend the citizens of Las Vegas and the actions taken by the City Council and city staff. Therefore, I will support this additional funding request from our outside legal counsel. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Seaman. And our planning director, Mr. Summerfield, good morning.
Good morning.
You have some comments, I understand.
I do, ma'am. Good morning. For the record, Robert Summerfield, Director of Planning. Madam Mayor, members of the council, just like I did last time, while we're under Directive 3, I need to do a statement regarding some of our licenses. I'd like to call your attention to 4 items on the business license consent agenda that, under the current declaration of emergency for the COVID-19 Directive 003, these businesses will not be able to conduct business under these licenses until the emergency has been lifted. I have signed affidavits from each business owner or each applicant that they've read the directive and understand that this restriction is in place. I will be submitting those affidavits to the clerk's office for the official record. Please note that today's vote is for approval of these licenses, understanding that they must wait to operate these businesses until the directive is rescinded or lifted, or otherwise directed by the City of Las Vegas Business Licensing Division to give them clearance to operate. Thank you.
Mr. Summerfield, do you have their acquiescence to that demand in writing, or was it oral, or how do you have that?
Yes, ma'am. So the affidavits that I've given to the clerk's office are their signed acknowledgement that they understand that while council will approve these licenses, and I apologize, I meant to indicate the licenses are, these are items 19, 22, 24, and 25. The affidavits that we've submitted are their acknowledgement that they understand that even though they're approved today, they will not be eligible to operate until such time as the order's been lifted or the licensing division of the City of Las Vegas has given them approval to operate.
So if, in fact, when and if the veil is lifted, then they're to come back into planning or re-meet with you?
They won't need to meet with us. Your action today will allow us to, as soon as we can get them to be able to operate, we will get their license and get them started operating. We won't need further action on their part. This will just give them that ability. The one exception is the number 19. Because the city has been working, and you'll see an item later in the agenda, to try to make it easier for some of our businesses to get a restaurant component so that they can serve food with their other services they provide, then that licensee, if they choose to take advantage of that opportunity, they maybe could open before the directive is actually lifted, provided that they operate in compliance with the current orders. So that's what we're trying to work with. But as soon as we get the clearance to be able to have these businesses begin operation, we will let them know that they can start doing that.
Okay, thank you. Are any questions here on that? Yes, Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And Mr. Summerfield and Mr. Perigo, I just want to make sure that our businesses in the city of Las Vegas, like our vitamin stores, understand that they can deliver, and we are really working diligently through this process until that directive comes out to make sure our businesses here that are licensed in the city of Las Vegas, they can reach out to each ward member, and we can kind of see whether they're in that gray area of essential or non-essential, so we can help people get back to work. Thank you.
Are there any other, on the phone, any of our council persons that have any item that they would like to bring forward? Hearing none, then how about here in council chambers? Anything added? No, you're cool. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion for the consent agenda, please?
Madam Mayor, I move to approve consent items 8 through 30.
Thank you very much. Is a motion?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're ahead of us. Oh, or oral, okay. Aye from Mayor Pro Tem, aye from me. Aye. Aye? Aye. Aye. So then please post, and if you can't do that, I can assure you that motion carries. So we'll move on to agenda item 31. Resolutions. R19-2020, discussion for possible action to approve a resolution approving and ratifying actions also authorized by the city manager regarding business license fees, business license status, land use status, and sewer fees. This is in reference to all wards. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, members of City Council, Scott Adams, City Manager. Item number 31 is a resolution approving and ratifying actions authorized by the city manager regarding business license fees, business license status, land use status, and sewer fees. As you know, the emergency declaration required that we move quickly on certain matters that would be helpful to a lot of our businesses and citizens to get through this difficult time. And so I'm going to read a statement here because it makes it very clear and very transparent about the things that we've done during this emergency and the things that we're going to be asking you to ratify. So at my direction, multiple departments took administrative actions over the past month to ease the burden faced by Las Vegas residents and businesses during this difficult time, an extraordinary time caused by the COVID-19 emergency. The city publicly announced these actions on Monday, March 30th, but I now come before the City Council with a resolution to approve and ratify the following actions. Under business license fees and status, businesses that have not yet paid their license renewal fees have a 60-day grace period to pay without penalty during this time. This includes late fees and reinstatement fees for all licenses except gaming. And the grace period may be extended depending on the duration of the COVID-19 emergency order. Under land use status, the Department of Planning will toll the date in which a use has ceased to operate until the day after the state of emergency has been lifted by the state of Nevada. This policy will allow landowners and applicants to preserve land use rights without being penalized by the impact of the COVID-19 emergency. And under sewer fees, to assist businesses and citizens during this time, from March 16 through 30 days following the mayor's declaration of an end to the current COVID-19 emergency, late fees, penalties, and liens will not be assessed on sewer billing if the account is past due. If you wish to be placed on a payment plan, please email us at sewerservices@lasvegasnevada.gov to make arrangements. Let me give you that again. That's sewerservices@lasvegasnevada.gov. These are the things that we had to take very quickly to accommodate our citizens and businesses, and I respectfully ask that the council ratify and approve those actions taken.
I can't thank you enough. I can tell you for the wards and understanding what's going on, the numbers of phone calls of people that are caught in this and are losing the ability to pay anything. They are looking down the road when it's lifted and then realizing they have a compounded bigger bill to pay. And I think what you've just stated is you're aware of that, and if you need help, anybody needs help in a payment plan, the city is open to that. So don't think, is that not correct?
That is correct, and and in regards to some of these other issues, we are recognizing that we are approaching, we hope, the peak, and there'll be a downside of that peak, and that downside will hopefully lead to lifting of state restrictions, federal restrictions, and opening things up, as you indicated in your opening statement. So we are going to start the process as your team, looking at how we make those accommodations going forward to open up. What does it mean, for example, to your sewer bill? What does it mean for your license fees? How do we handle that at the end of or completion of the emergency declaration in terms of accommodating reasonable payment schedules going forward?
And I believe our council persons then will be communicating the resolves on each of these different fees. So at the right time, that's where you contact, or do you wish them to contact, as you said, for sewer? But what about other fees, other issues with which they're dealing?
Well, these are the ones that we've addressed so far. I mean, we've really done that were coming due immediately.
Okay.
The business license fees, some of those are very significant.
Yes.
The land use status, we had certain land uses that were going to expire during this period, and there was no way to accommodate their extension of use. So we're tolling that. We're saying we toll you until after the end of the crisis, in which case you can get back on making application for extension of your land use. And then the same with sewer fees. Sewer fees, we're eliminating the late penalties and deferring payments, and then accommodating our customers on a payment plan.
Thank you, excellent. So we're here with you. We want you to know we're here to help. The phones are ringing off the hook because they're not able to get through to state offices at this point because they're slammed with the numbers. So we're here to help, and as we move forward, I'm most grateful. So may I have a motion to approve on this? A comment? Certainly, yes.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, on top of the fees and licensing, I think we're going to start getting a lot of small businesses that are going to try to reopen in different ways to not violate any state directives. And I mean, for example, the one recently was liquor stores wanting to do deliveries, and they contacted us, and we went through a process, and we gave them a license to do that. I think we're going to start getting more of that. I think we're going to start getting small businesses that say, I want to do this. I'm not sure if it violates anything, especially my city license, but I need to talk to somebody to find out if I can do that. So for small businesses that want to look at different ways of their delivery system, who at the city do you want them to contact to start the process to have these discussions?
Tom Perigo is indicating they can call our call center at 229-CARE, C-A-R-E, and our call center operators will direct them to the business licensing or appropriate function to make those accommodations. Let me mention something here. When the governor issued numerous closure orders, and then in particular the main one that really defined essential and non-essential, we identified that there were a lot of businesses that were in a gray area, that they were clearly not in the essential, clearly not in the non-essential. Our attitude has been, we want to work with individual businesses to find a way to continue to operate but meet safe CDC guidelines. And we didn't think there's an either or. Either you got to shut down or you can stay open. We think there is a place in the middle somewhere that's reasonable that allows a business to continue to operate when they are not clearly defined as a non-essential business. That's been our business licensing folks' approach to things. As you know, we are tandem with Metro, the officers that are out enforcing the governor's order, and our approach in our work with Metro is to make every accommodation possible to allow a business to operate if they're in that gray area but meet CDC guidelines.
And I would add to that, if I might, just for 1 second, Councilman, we have nothing to do with gaming. That is state ordered, that we have no control, and nor do we at the city have any control of the school district. And so those are two areas that absolutely we cannot help in, but everything else we certainly are working, and I think your points are, please continue.
Yeah, I'm just driving around these strip malls all over the city of Las Vegas, and there's these little stores, little retail stores, and you know they're owned by one person or a family or a couple, and they're closed. There's got to be a way for us to help them open where they're not violating anything, they're not causing any trouble, and at least get one person back to work and maybe a couple of people in there buying stuff. So I think we've reached a point where people want to do that, but they're worried about doing it, and I'm glad to hear that you and our staff and this city council is here to help coordinate that and help them be, because they're the ones that are going to be coming up with the ideas, not us. These are smart people that started these businesses, and they just want to get back to work. So I'm glad to hear that. So if they call 229-CARE, the call center there will know if they call up and that's their question,
they'll get referred to the appropriate people in this city that can work with them on a one-on-one basis.
That's great to hear. So with that, Mayor, unless there's any other questions, I'll go ahead and make a motion to
Let me
approve the
just
resolution.
see online, any questions or comments from online?
No, Mayor.
And none on the
Madam Mayor, I have
phone?
a,
Pardon?
just a second.
Who was that?
Hello? Councilman Creer, Cedric.
Did you wish to make comment, please?
I do, thank you. First I just want to commend our staff. I think they have been exceptional during this time and very nimble and very responsive to the community. Many had talked about the liquor stores being able to deliver. I think they should be able to have curbside pickup as well, and which would also ease the burden of the delivery that is taking place. And I know that is more of a state and a governor's call right now. But I think it's important that we continue to be nimble and that we are very responsive. And I want to applaud our city manager and his team for doing that. This whole pandemic has been a huge setback for many, including myself. I am a small business owner. I have two businesses that have been adversely affected by the city shutdown, and it's detrimental. But I also think that it's important that we do follow the regulations and follow the guidelines that our healthcare professionals are laying out for us, because one death is just too many. And I think as we get more testing into the market, then we're going to realize that there are more people who are infected. And I think right now you could say that the reason that we haven't had as many responses, positive responses to this, is because of the fact that we have taken self-quarantine and we are staying at home. And that if we hadn't, then we might have double, triple the amount of people who have contracted the virus or even passed away from it. Recently, my aunt passed away from COVID-19 in New Orleans. She was my mother, she was my wife's father's sister, and just an absolute saint of a lady who went to church every single day and took in, adopted 3 kids, and took in anybody who needed anything. And so maybe people haven't had it hit home directly, but our family is suffering. And because of COVID-19, we are not able to properly give her a send-off that she is deserving because of the fact that she's in New Orleans, and that has become a hot zone as well. So I want this economy to be open right now, tonight. And I know there are many people who are suffering, and we're praying with them and doing everything we can to try to mitigate the circumstances and to try to help them get through it. But I just want people to know that they are not alone. And me personally, I can't speak for everybody, but this has affected me just as much it has affected those who have been out of work. So thank you.
Councilwoman Diaz or Councilman Knutson, did you wish to make comment too?
Madam Mayor, I'm just going to thank our fabulous city staff that has been hard at work through all of this, making sure that we're getting the answers and the resources into the hands of those who most need them. And this most trying time, that means a lot to so many that need answers to questions that we've never had to answer before. But our city manager and every department director and every employee in the city is doing amazing yeoman's work. I just want to make sure they know that that is very much appreciated.
Thank you very much. I just want you to know, Councilwoman, I'm looking at our team, and they're all over this auditorium or council chamber. So the ones that you see on through the screen are well spaced, and we're all respective of that. But I want you to know they're out there. I'm looking around trying to identify some of them that are far out there. And so these words, both from Councilman Creer and Councilwoman Diaz, and I'm sure Councilman Knutson, thank you all, spaced that you are. And we do thank you, and tech and our marshals, everybody that's working so hard, but most specifically, Mr. City Manager and your team, thank you. So at this point then,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution as presented by our city manager.
okay, there's a motion. Please vote, and please post, and please, if you'll take the poll.
Councilman Creer?
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson?
Aye.
Thank you.
And please post. And that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Okay, agenda item 32, recommending committee bills eligible for adoption at this meeting. Bill number 2020-8. Mr. City Attorney, good morning, and you got a haircut.
I did 2
Did
weeks
you
ago,
visit?
right before the harsher order came in. I got it in.
Okay. I'm watching you.
I was outdoors getting a haircut. Yeah.
Okay. Please go ahead. Would you read the bill?
Will do. Bill number 2020-8, an ordinance to adopt that certain document entitled First Amendment to Fifth Amendment and Restatement to the Development Agreement for Sky Canyon Master Plan Community and to provide for other related matters.
And
Move for approval.
thank you. There's a motion to approve agenda item number 32. Please vote, and would you poll those on phone?
Councilman Creer?
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that is posted.
Councilman Anthony?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
There it is. Okay, that's approved. We'll move on to 33, bill number 2020-9. Would you please read the bill?
Yes,
Mr.
yes, ma'am. Bill number 2020-9, an ordinance to update LVMC Chapter 19-19.9 relating to form-based code to refine and adjust various procedures and standards pertaining to property and applications that are governed by that chapter and to provide for other related matters.
Move for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve agenda item 33. Please vote and please poll.
Councilman Creer?
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson?
Aye.
Thank you.
And post, and that carries. Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item 34, bill number 2020-11. City Attorney, would you please read the bill?
Bill number 2020-11, an ordinance creating the City of Las Vegas, Nevada Special Improvement District number 815, Summerlin Village 25, ordering a street project, storm sewer project, sanitary sewer project, drainage project, and water project within the City of Las Vegas, Nevada, and providing other matters related thereto.
Move for
Thank you.
approval.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve agenda item 34. Please vote, and if you would, Madam.
Councilman Creer?
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson? Councilman Knutson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Would you post, please? And that motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item 35, bill number 2020-12. Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 2020-12, an ordinance concerning the City of Las Vegas, Nevada Special Improvement District 815, Summerlin Village 25, assessing the cost of local improvements against the assessable property benefited by the local improvements and providing other matters related thereto.
Move for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve agenda item 35. Please vote. And if you would, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Creer?
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson? Councilman Knutson?
Okay, if you will then please just post what we have. And the motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item 36. Bill number 2020-13. City Attorney, please.
Bill number 2020-13, an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale by the city of its Special Improvement District number 815, Summerlin Village 25, Local Improvement Bonds, Series 2020, approving the form of certain documents with respect to such bonds, ratifying action taken by city officers toward the issuance of such bonds, and providing other matters related thereto.
Move for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve agenda item 36. Please vote, and if you would, Madam
Councilman
Clerk.
Creer?
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson?
Aye.
Excellent.
Okay. All right, and please post, and that motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item number 37, and that is recommending committee bills eligible for adoption later meeting. Item number 37, bill number 2020-10 will be heard at a later meeting. We'll move on to new bills. Items number 38 through 40, bills number 2020-14 through 2020-16 will be heard at recommending committee meeting Monday, May 4th, 2020. City Attorney, please read the new bills.
Bill number 2020-14, an ordinance concerning the City of Las Vegas, Nevada Special Improvement District number 1485, Alta Drive, Landscape Maintenance FY 2021, providing for the payment of the costs and expenses of maintaining street beautification improvements, assessing the cost of maintenance against the assessable lots, tracts, and parcels of land benefited by said maintenance, ratifying, approving, and confirming all action previously taken, prescribing details in connection therewith. Bill number 2020-15, an ordinance concerning the City of Las Vegas, Nevada Special Improvement District number 1516, Fremont Street Maintenance District FY 2021, Las Vegas Boulevard to 8th Street, providing for the payment of the costs and expenses of a neighborhood improvement project, assessing the cost of the project against the accessible lots, tracts, and parcels of land benefited by said improvements, ratifying, approving, and confirming all action previously taken, prescribing details in connection therewith. Bill number 2020-16, an ordinance to authorize the establishment of one or more temporary programs to allow certain types of businesses with an alcoholic beverage license and a restaurant license to offer and provide the delivery or the curbside pickup of alcoholic beverages in connection with the delivery or pickup of food by a customer who has placed an order therefore, and to provide for other related matters.
Thank you very much. New bills number 2020-14 through 2020-16 are assigned to the May 4th, 2020 recommending committee members, Councilman Anthony and Mayor Pro Tem Fiore. And if any are that are so designated or unable to attend, the clerk's office will find substitutes, and that will be myself, as necessary at my direction for the 4th. So, Councilwoman Fiore, you wanted to make a comment on one of the bills?
Yes, I just want to reiterate again on Bill number 2020-16, Agenda Item 40, as our city manager, as our Madam Mayor, as our councilman, Stavros Anthony has reiterated a whole bunch of times, this is how we get creative to make sure that our small businesses, we've worked very hard with our liquor stores to get home delivery, and hopefully we can figure out curbside pickup. So I just want to just make sure that you guys know we are working hard for all of you and our small businesses.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item 41. Okay, items number 41, 42 are on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and recommended for approval by the Department of Planning. Mayor Pro Tem may have a motion to approve consent agenda items number 41, 42.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda items 41 and 42.
Thank you very much. There's a motion. Please vote, and if you would, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Creer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz.
Aye.
And Councilman Knutson.
Aye.
Thank you.
And please post. And that motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll move on to agenda items 43 through 51. They may be considered in one motion, one vote, and they're considered. Did we just pull one of those, though? No, it was 52. Oh, perfect. Items 43 through 51 may be considered in one motion, one vote, considered routine, non-public, and public hearing items with no condition changes. Any person representing an application or a member of the public or member of the council not in agreement with the conditions and all standard conditions for the application recommended by staff should request to have that item removed from this portion of the agenda. I'll read through them all. 43, GPA 78033, applicant 190 Octane FT Partners LLC, owner Limited States of America, on a request for a general plan amendment from PF Public Facilities, DR Desert Rural Density Residential, to PCD Plan Community Development and related item. Number 44, ZON 78241, a request for rezoning from U undeveloped DR Desert Rural Density Residential General Plan Designation and CV Civic to PD Plan Development on 275.80 acres on the west side of Pooley Road between Farm Road and Tropical Parkway, and related item number 45, VAC 78242, on a request for a petition to vacate Bureau of Land Management right-of-way grants generally located on the west side of Pooley Road between Farm Road and Tropical Parkway, and related item number 46, TMP 78365, and a request for a tentative map for a 12-lot master planned residential subdivision on 275.80 acres on the west side of Pooley Road between Farm Road and Tropical Parkway, U undeveloped zone for desert rural density, general plan designation, CV Civic Zone, proposed PD plan development, Ward 6, Councilwoman Mayor Pro Tem Fiore, and number 47, GPA 78348, applicant owner City of Las Vegas, on a request to amend the planned streets and highways map and Schedule 13-1A, and to amend Map 2C of the Transportation and Streets and Highways element of the Las Vegas 2020 Master Plan to add, remove, or amend various road alignments within the northwest portion of the city. Again, Ward 6 with Councilwoman Mayor Pro Tem Fiore, and number 48 GPA 78349, applicant owner City Las Vegas, and a request to amend maps number 1 and 2 of the Trails element of the Las Vegas 2020 Master Plan, Ward 6, Councilwoman Mayor Pro Tem Fiore. Number 49 VAR 77772, applicant owner ARG D151 PCK001 LLC, and a request for a variance to allow a 6-foot side yard setback where 10 feet is required on an existing building on 1.33 acres at 150 South Valley View Boulevard, C1 Limited Commercial Zone in Ward 1 with Councilman Knutson. Number 50 VAC 78236, applicant owner Twin Lakes Baptist Church, on a request for a petition to vacate U.S. government patent elements and related item. Number 51, SDR 78237, a request for a site development plan review for proposed one-story, 14,625 square foot church house of worship, including fellowship hall and administration building, and a two-story, 5,790 square foot multi-purpose building with a waiver not orient the building to the corner where such is required on 10 acres at the northwest corner of West Cliff Drive and Rainbow Boulevard, C1 Limited Commercial Zone in Ward 1 with Councilman Knutson. The Planning Commission and staff recommend approval on all items. These are public hearings, which I declare open. Is there anyone wishing to be heard on items number 43 through 51?
Madam Mayor, over here. If I could, for the record, I do need to enter in that for items 43 through 46, the applicant has submitted revisions to the design guidelines for this master plan development. They would like to substitute page 59, 510, 511, 549, and 550. Staff has reviewed those changes. Everything is still in order. I will submit these to the clerk for the record, and that item can move forward as presented.
And so that is in Ward 6, correct?
That is in Ward 6, yes,
And
ma'am.
I've just asked Mayor Pro Tem if she is aware of all that, and she said yes. Okay, so any other changes, any comments from council? Okay, on the phone, any comments, questions, anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion for one motion, pardon?
We do have written-in comments.
Oh, let's hear from those, please.
Thank you. For items 43, 44, 45, and 46, we received 4 opposition form stacks for this project from Danielle Billmayer, Daniel Pazish, Amanda Pazish, and Meng Lagman, and Mark Langman, and the following comments were received via email. Robert Swaim, my wife, Brenda Swaim, and I both oppose the following. From Tony Gardner and Anna Gardner, both oppose applicant 190, the proposal for the 12-lot master plan residential subdivision on 275.8 acres west side of Pooley Road between Farm Road and Tropical Parkway. TMP 78365, tentative map related to GPA 78033, ZON 78241, and BAC 78242. My name is Brian Small. My wife and I have a home at 6608 Brooklyn Heights, St. Street, Lewis Wayman. Brooklyn Heights Street, Las Vegas 89166. We continue to strongly oppose PRJ 77997 and hope the council will remove these items from the agenda. Building additional homes on this vacant land leading up to the mountains is a careless mistake and should be reconsidered. It not only will further destroy the desert, but will lead to unnecessary harms to our planet and wildlife population. Sky Canyon already has ample land for development and should stick with their existing plans instead of wedging more homes into an area that should remain wild and undeveloped. Stacy Lara states, we oppose the request for applicant for a 12-lot master plan residential subdivision on 275.8 acres on the west side of Pooley Road. The community of Providence already has enough traffic accidents, and our schools are overcrowded. These residents would utilize Providence Road to access their homes, which are already a 2-lane street that were meant to accommodate the home numbers in Providence community. when they were built. By approving the master plan subdivision, you are creating overcrowding in our schools, which in turn has turned a negative effect on our kids' education. Also, we don't look forward to having a trail/park behind our homes that would allow these residents and non-residents to look behind our homes into our homes. This park also allows for residents and non-residents to be behind our homes all hours of the day to utilize the trail/park, which would lead to break-ins and litter in our backyards. From Victor Chavez, Dear City Council, I would like to share my family's opposition towards building on the western side of the mountain. Our families would like to keep the desert area unpopulated, not only to reduce noise, population, and traffic, but to preserve the natural habitat of desert tortoises, coyotes, and other desert animals that reside in the area. Just the other day, we ran into a baby desert Mojave tortoise in a walk back there. When it comes to traffic, I believe there are enough empty lots towards the inner city that could be used for this purpose. The traffic situation would only deteriorate, adding extra mileage for those homes to work sources. I've attached the postcards regarding the requests in this email, and if you'd like, we could share the video of the desert tortoise that lives out in the desert. From Damon and Dinah Hansen, I oppose land TMP 78365. We specifically purchased our home lot because of the scenic view from our back deck and the premise of no neighbors/community behind our home. We paid additional money toward our premium lot. In building homes behind our community, it will devalue our home and affect our scenic view. There are many residents from the Providence community that hike/run/bike and jog with their dogs on the proposed land. My husband and I hike with our dog to get away from the, quote, hustle and bustle of the city. Also, you are pushing the wildlife, coyotes, rabbits, quail, and snakes from their home environment. We choose the Providence area because of less traffic and quietness of the community. I've heard the same comment from our neighbors who have moved from large cities. Very shameful that you want to squeeze more houses into such a small area. Aren't we trying to conserve water and water resources? Building more homes will put further strain on our water resources from Lake Mead. Also, we don't have enough law enforcement to cover our area. Will you build another substation closer to Providence/Centennial Hills? Please keep this proposed land in its natural environment and let the residents of Providence enjoy the serenity of the desert. And from Jonathan Klopp, it's a little bit longer. I'm writing to voice my opposition to these 3 items listed in the subject line. As a homeowner that would be impacted by the construction, I vehemently oppose this building for a variety of reasons. First of all, I purchased my home due to its location. I love being close enough to the city that I can easily get there, but I can go home to a quiet residential neighborhood in the desert and away from city life. Learning that my bedroom will now face a planned thoroughfare complete with streetlights is displeasing to say the least, and I would have never bought in this area if this was the case. Secondly, I worry that there is already an abundance of new construction in the area. Sky Canyon has many developments that are in the process of being built. Is there truly a need for more homes? Will this become the newest place for squatters if they don't immediately sell? There are so many people currently out of work due to the COVID-19. What if these homes sit vacant and there is an interest? How will that impact our local property values? I attended a meeting with the developer. When asked about schools, he replied that they have brought in charter schools to other areas, but perhaps building 1,500 homes would give CCSD the impetus to build new schools sooner. I feel this is highly inappropriate. Building 1,500 homes would put 3,000 more students in the schools. That would mean overcrowded classrooms, portables, and a lack of resources, including qualified teachers. As a teacher who is hoping to send his children to their schools, this is a major concern. In addition, I have concerns about the infrastructure of this planned development. Is there a plan to widen Schaumburg Road from 1 lane to 2 lanes or more from Centennial to Ann? Is there enough water to support 1,500 more homes? There has been an increased violence and thefts in the area and will only increase with population in the area. I would love to see the rural nature of this parcel preserved. I would be happy to see bike trails, walking trails, a place to gather to fly drones, a butterfly habitat, basically something that preserves the desert environment more than adding 1,500 homes. Please note the developer originally stated that the intention was to build 1,500 homes, but we have now heard that it is more close to 6,000 homes, which would mean that all of the above applies even more. Lastly, as a new constituent to the area and Las Vegas, I'll be taking the actions of my elected officials in high consideration this election season and future ones as well. Thank you. And from Rose Arnaldo, Dear Sir or Madam, I am writing to you today with concerns of the new development proposed west of Pewley Road between Farm Road and Tropical Parkway. While I understand this is going to happen, I would like to strongly request, even implore, if you will consider decreasing the density of homes, especially in the areas between Farm and Dorrell, as it is a relatively narrow strip of land between Pooley and the proposed Sheep Mountain Parkway. I believe the developer is currently proposing 5.8 homes per acre. What if that was decreased to 4.5? Most of the community that moved into Providence would move here because of the distance from the city area and other spaces. Most of the community who moved here from out of state moved to this location for the same reason. This area offers a unique lifestyle in that it is both far away from crowded suburb and city, but close enough to enjoy the amenities and the city and larger suburb areas offer. Crowding the area with homes would wear away the very thing that makes this area so unique and desirable. I am also concerned with overcrowding in schools. How will that be addressed? Not all is bad, though. My house backs up to Pooley Road, so I'm very excited that the developer plans to put in a walking trail extending out 110 feet from the back of my home. However, I do have a couple of concerns. One, in reviewing their plans submitted on the parkway/walking trail, I noticed that they had a couple of areas designated as dog parks. Their plans designate areas with large and small dog parks with wood mulch surfaces. I would like to request that they eliminate these dog park areas. Not everyone picks up after the dog. Having a dog park located so close to the back of our homes will present an issue with odor and flies, especially during the summer months. This would most likely hurt those of us along Pooley Road in that it would make it difficult for us to enjoy our backyards due to smell and flies. What if they put in more exercise areas instead? We already have dog parks at Huckleberry Park and Knickerbocker Park. 2, lighting along the parkway/walking trail. Not a bad thing, but could homeowners that do back up to Pooley Road be assured that the lighting will not be beamed into our homes at night? Also, there will be any type of security monitoring along the parkway/walkway trail? Who will maintain it and at whose cost? Would it be city or the new HOA, a combination of city/new and Providence HOA, ? Note, I did ask these questions during the community meeting with the developer, but they were unable to answer at the time. 3, will residents of Providence have access to this parkway/walkway trail? I hope so. Since the parkway walking trail is up against our homes and the residents of the new community will have access to Huckleberry and Knickerbocker Park, I hope they would be the good neighbor thing to do. Thank you so much for taking the time to review my requests and concerns. I look forward to hearing from you. And on item 51, we have Jeanette Casolari that says, hello, I'd like to express my written objection for SDR 78237. I know that there is a hearing tomorrow regarding this. I'm not sure what other information you need from me. Objecting, Twin Lakes Baptist Church on Rainbow and Westcliff, SDR 78237. Please let me know if there are anything else you might need from me. Thank you. And that's all the comments.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you all for commenting in such an eloquent manner, actually. And everything is a matter of record. So as for anybody here, I'm going to close public hearing. One more shot to come forward and speak. I will close the public hearing, and Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you guys so much for sending in your requests and your concerns. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask our city clerk to pass everything that was written and spoken to us to my office, and I'm going to actually have our builders, Mr. Armstrong, Mr. Gronauer, call each and every one of you to make sure your concerns are handled. We've worked very hard and very diligent on these items. And with that, Madam Mayor, I move to approve the one motion, one vote, items 43 to 51.
Thank you very much, and I love that you're going to meet with them and see what you can do to help on this. So there is a motion on items through 51, what was it, 43 through 51? Please vote, and please, Madam Clerk, if you will poll.
Councilman Creer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz.
Aye.
Councilman Knutson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Please post. And motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 52 has been obeyed to the 20th of May. We're into agenda item then 53. Okay. GPA 77891, public hearing, applicant, Dapper Companies, owner MLK Carey LLC, for possible action on a request for a general plan amendment from MXU mixed use to SC service commercial on .50 acres at 2360 North Martin Luther King Boulevard, Ward 5, with Councilman Creer. And Planning Commission and staff both recommend approval. This is a public hearing, which I declare open. Is the applicant or representative present? There he is.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, members of council. For the record, John Curran, 985 White Drive, here on behalf of the applicant. We have before you a general plan amendment to modify one land use on the westernmost parcel of this southeast corner of Martin Luther King and Carey from MXU to SC. Doing so will enable us to consolidate those parcels and make this parcel more developable in the future. It has remained undeveloped for well over 20 years, so we think this is a productive step in the path to redevelopment. We did have an associated SDR, which we withdrew, but are moving forward with this GPA, and happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, respectfully request your vote for approval.
Okay, for those on the phone, before I turn this over to Mr. Summerfield, any questions thus far from Mr. Curran? Anybody here? Question at this point? Nope. So let's go over to you, Mr. Summerfield, please.
Madam Mayor, the subject site is, as indicated, an undeveloped lot. It does currently have a C1 limited commercial designation with the MXU mixed-use land use designation underneath that. The proposed amendment will allow for future consolidation, as the applicant's representative mentioned, of this lot with two adjacent lots to the east that also have a service commercial land use designation. It will remain compatible as a land use designation with the current zoning district and the adjacent properties. Additionally, it should be noted that the reason that this is MXU is because this parcel is within the redevelopment area. It will remain in the redevelopment area. This general plan and designation change will not affect its status as a part of the redevelopment area. Thank you.
Could you tell us, though, on the northeast and northwest side of Cary, what are those facilities? Hard to see. I see the school on the to the west, but what is?
Madam Mayor, I am not 100% sure that is in the county.
It's the Martin Luther King Senior
Councilman Creer
Center,
knows.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, please, Mr. Creer.
Thank you. Across the street is it's in North Las Vegas, but it's the Martin Luther King Senior Center, which is county run. Is that building on the corner, if that's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, and this is the northern boundary of the city limits. To the north is the city of North Las Vegas.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone from the public who wishes to make comment on agenda item 53, please come forward if you're here with us. And how about through our emails or any other communication, Madam Clerk? No? Okay, thank you. I'm going to close the public hearing. And Mr. Creer, there's no comments from council here, so how would you like
Great.
to proceed?
Thank you. I'm going to go with PC and staff's recommendation for approval of item 53.
Could you repeat that, Madam Clerk?
I believe the councilman said he would be going with staff's recommendation for approval.
Okay, thank you very
Yes.
much. There's a motion then on agenda item 53 for approval. Please vote, and please, Madam Clerk, poll those online, on the phone.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and post, and that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Kern. Thank you. Okay, agenda item 54 has been obeyed to the 20th of May. We'll move on to agenda item 55 and 56. Okay, agenda item 55, SUP 78253, On a request for a special use permit for an alternative parking standard to allow 12 parking spaces where 50 spaces are required for a clinic use. And number 56, SDR 78254, on a request for a site development plan review for proposed 8,812 square foot clinic on .40 acres. The applicant owner is the City of Las Vegas at 1425 Main Street. CV Civic Zone. On both items, the Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. These are in Ward 5 with Councilman Creer and are public hearings, which I declare open. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Kathy Thomas, Office of Community Services Director, and I am here with our city engineer, Steve Ford. We're going to provide some background and some of the design features for this City of Las Vegas Health and Wellness Center. When the city began developing the Courtyard Resource Center in 2017, we recognized the need for medical services, particularly in the immediate vicinity that encompasses the courtyard, the Corridor of Hope, and a lot of the surrounding area where we noticed there was a lot of medically underserved neighbors in the community. The City of Las Vegas Health and Wellness Center will not only provide services to the guests at the Courtyard Resource Center, but the entirety of the Corridor of Hope. In addition, there are a number of affordable housing communities in the area and other medically underserved communities. The Health and Wellness Center will be located on a city-owned parcel at 1425 North Main Street, and that's right on the corner of Main and Four Master Lane, steps away from the courtyard and our other traditional shelter providers in the area. Our operating partner for the health clinic will be Nevada Health Centers, and they were procured through a competitive RFQ process. We have contracted with TSK Architects on the design of the building, and our city engineer will provide some additional background.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Steve Ford, City Engineer. Just with a brief overview of the building that we'll be looking at. As this first slide shows, as Kathy mentioned, it's on the corner of Main and Four Master, southeast corner, and we have a relatively constrained lot size, but we made the most of what we had on that particular corner. This next slide is simply the first floor plan. This is where the health clinic will be, that will be operated by our medical provider partner, and it contains a lobby, waiting area, exam rooms, dispensary, offices, and separate restrooms for clients and staff. The second floor contains a large leasable office suite for future health services, leasable offices, a conference room, break room, and a small exterior deck for staff. And then we have some exterior renderings. This is the front entrance looking from Four Master onto the front. Then this next slide is the front from the Main Street side. This is what is along Main Street on the west elevation. And then the final one is just an interior from the southeast corner of the parking lot looking toward the northwest. This construction of this is approximately $5.5 million and expected to break ground later this fall.
And can you tell us a little bit about how many are employed and in what areas basically you're looking at?
Yes, Mayor. Kathy Thomas for the record. So there will be a complement of medical professionals and paraprofessionals, up to approximately 35 individuals providing health care. We also anticipate that we will be bringing in some behavioral health care services at some point, and I don't know the employment numbers for that group.
And are you partnering, if I may, with any food service or any of our wraparound service partners?
Indeed. So one of the commitments that we made to our Corridor of Hope partners is that we would not duplicate services. So Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, and the Rescue Mission all provide community meals at no cost to people experiencing homelessness. So we will not be incorporating meal service into these programs because our partners right across the street do provide those.
And our hours of operation and days of the week, please.
We are looking for extended hours so that they open early in the morning and extend past 6 p.m. in the evening. And we hope to also have some Friday and Saturday services available as well.
Thank you. Thank you. This is, anything to add there, Mr. Summerfield?
Madam Mayor, so as mentioned by our wonderful representatives from the Community Services Department and Public Works, this is a application between the city and Nevada Health Centers for an outpatient clinic. As mentioned, it is a very underserved area. The special use permit for the alternative parking standard is found to be reasonable as the mode of transportation for folks accessing this site will not be by car primarily, and with that, staff is recommending approval of both applications.
And what is the timeline, or are we caught in this shutdown on this?
So I would look to our city engineer for when they think they may be able to break ground.
Sure, thank you. Steve Ford, for the record, city engineer. We're looking at breaking ground later on this fall. We'll be submitting for permits within the next month or two.
And you figure, what, 18 months? Less than that to complete?
For construction time, about a year.
About a year. Okay, any comments, questions here from council? From the public that's here? Online, emails, any other carrier pigeons?
No
Anybody?
e-comments.
Anybody after us? No. And so, Councilman, any on the phone? Councilman Creer, this is yours, but Councilwoman Diaz and Councilman Knutson, any questions, comments that need to be answered?
None from
Madam
me,
Mayor,
sir.
this is Councilman Knutson. I just want to say this is one of the most exciting projects I've heard in a long while now, at least the last couple of months. So I'm grateful for Ms. Gibson and Mr. Ford and Mr. Summerfield. It sounds like a really great project. Really looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you. All right, closing public comment all the way around, and Councilman Creer, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I got to tell you that carrier pigeon was funny. I want to just commend our team for not only what they're doing with our courtyard, what they've done with our isolation quarantine facility as well, and being front line. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I just want to get that on the record. And I want to make a motion for approval.
Thank you, please. Then do you want to make a motion? Or did I misunderstand? That's what that was? Yes? Please, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Creer, I believe you said motion for approval?
Yes.
Okay, there's a motion to approve on agenda item, where were we on that? 55. There's motion to approve, please vote, and if you would, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson?
I'm sure it's an aye since he spoke so glowingly, but I know I can't vote for him, so.
Councilman Knutson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would you please post? And that motion carries, Mr. Ford. And Miss Kathy, thank you so much for all that you do.
56.
Goodness, it's so joy. Pardon? Oh, don't go away. I did that too quickly. Oh, true. It was stapled the other. Hold on one second. 56 is SDR 78254, Site Development Plan Review related SUP 78253, public hearing, applicant owner, City of Las Vegas, for possible action or request for a site development plan review for proposed 8,812 square foot clinic on .40 acres at 1425 Main Street, APM 13927-504-001, CV Civic Zone and Ward 5, Councilman Creer, PRJ 78099. The Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. Yes. And just vote.
A motion from
Motion
Councilman
on
Crear.
that, please. Councilman Greer?
I make a motion for approval.
There's a motion to approve agenda item 56. Please vote. And if you would, follow up with Councilman Knutson and Councilwoman.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson?
Aye.
Thank you.
And please post. And that motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we go on to agenda item, where are we, 58? SD, yes? We're all in good there. SDR 78259, public hearing, applicant owner Fortress Ogden LLC et al. For possible action on a request for site development plan review for proposed 5-story mixed-use development consisting of 2,774 square feet, commercial space, and 80 multifamily residential units with waivers of Title 19.09 Form-Based Code standards on .80 acres at 1116 East Ogden. T4-MS, T4 Main Street Zone, Ward 5, Councilman Crear. The Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. This is a public hearing, which I declare open. As the applicant, we are the applicant, so who's speaking on behalf of us here?
I guess I will take this. Madam Mayor, while the applicant has requested waivers of the form-based code requirements, this development as designed is compatible with the overall intent of the form-based code, the T4 MS or T4 Main Street zone, which encourages mixed-use buildings that accommodate commercial and office space on ground floor and residential on the upper floors. The requested waivers are minimal and will not negatively impact the surrounding area. Therefore, staff is recommending approval of the site development review subject to conditions. I will note the action that council took earlier to approve the amendments to the form-based code. Actually, this project is one of those that exemplified things that we needed to make some tweaks on. And so with that amendment, if this application were to come before you in a few weeks, it wouldn't actually have the waivers that it has. So staff is very much in favor of this application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. Do we have any? Yes, we do. Please,
We do
Madam
have.
Clerk.
Thank you. From Mark Hunter. I'm writing you in support of SDR 78259. We own the 3 lots across the alley from the subject property and are in the process of permitting to revitalize our portion of the block as well. We feel it is imperative the majority of property owners in the area do their part to improve the overall aesthetics of the neighborhood in order to build a draw to the downtown area. Pioneering projects like this and recent others are the catalyst to the overall success of the district. We ask you to please approve. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. And that's it from emails? All right. Any comments from those who are here? I'll close the public hearing then. And any comments from council here or attorney? No? Okay, let's go ahead. Councilman Crear?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to make a motion for approval. This is going to be a very cool project.
Okay, thank you very much. This is exciting. There's a motion to approve agenda item 58. Please vote. And Madam Clerk, if you would.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Councilman Knutson?
Aye.
And
Mayor
please
Pro Tem?
post.
I need Mayor Pro Tems.
And that motion carries. And you, Mr. Summerfield, looking at that map, the overview there, I'd love to see at some point what buildings, where we've gone ahead and we're moving forward in that corner area there with improved sale or whatever. What's for sale, what's out there, and really try to get that out because I think we're doing so much down Fremont and Stewart and Ogden that
We can
really
get you that
help
map.
it.
We'll get a map of what projects have been improved and where they're at in the various stages and how many units they encompass and all that.
Would
We'll-
love to see
We'll
that.
get that for you and the rest of the council.
I would love to see that. Fremont, Ogden, Stewart, if you can do those. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're on to agenda item 59. Reports and presentations. Mr. Adams. Welcome back.
Scott Adams again, City Manager. This is my Council Emerging Issues Report. And as I've reported in the past, I think I've kind of shifted gears, and I'm reporting on our progress as it relates to all the efforts that we're involved in relative to COVID-19. We have been, when I say we, our management team has been working with council over the last several weeks in briefings to keep you informed about our budget process, our projections for revenue, and I think it's very clear now that our revenues are going to be down, or we're in a down period, and they're projected to be down over the next 12 to 18 months. I mean, if there's any good news, we got some revised projections that show it slightly better than we originally projected. So instead of $160 million deficit over the next 18 months, we're looking at just shy of $150 million. We have presented conceptually a draft that I think balances our budget, and with your cooperation, in particular, the cooperation of our collective bargaining units, our employees, we can get through this. And I stress our collective bargaining units because I've had one meeting with the leaders of those units already, almost 2 weeks ago, where we've kind of teed up our difficulties at a high level, presented our projections, and I indicated in that meeting that later that day I would suspend the collective bargaining agreements, which I did, using the emergency authority you've granted me. And I want to iterate that the intent of that was not to unilaterally make any economic or realize any economic concessions. The intent of that was for workplace flexibility. This is not a usual time in the history of this city and how we operate. We found ourselves having to very quickly stratify our workforce into essential versus non-essential. Because of the school district closing schools, send people home, and we had to do it without regard to the collective bargaining agreements. I didn't have time to pick up the phone and call everybody and say, here's what we're going to do. So I made that suspension retroactive to the point that we declared the emergency. And it's never been my intent to do anything economically under it. So I needed to underscore that. We're really just needing to make sure we have the right people in the right place to continue to operate the essential functions of the city the way we need to and the way our citizens expect us to. We Monday opened our ISO-Q facility at Cashman, and let me just talk a little bit about this, because I think I'm not sure everybody fully understands what's going on in the homeless community. We experienced several positive confirmations of COVID-19 within the homeless community. At the courtyard, a number of the shelters, and one of the problems with the homeless community is it is really difficult to do contact tracing. You just can't track down where they've been, who they've contacted, such that the probability for community spread within the homeless community is absolutely incredible. So we have established ourselves as the first place in the United States, we believe, to proactively reach out, create a facility to start working with the homeless population to minimize community spread as much as possible. And I can report to you that in its first full day of operation, we've already seen 12 people there. 2 of those persons have been directed to the hospital. 7 are now in the facility, and a couple have been released. So it's already fully operational, and if you take those numbers and start looking at that over the next 30 days, so to speak, next 4 to 6 weeks, understanding we're close to peak as we speak, we're going to not have to ride the downside of the bell curve down, looking at another 30 to 45 days of incidents, this facility, we expect to be pretty fully utilized.
And its capacity?
It initially, at a minimum, would be 350 persons. And we've sized it to what we believe, that it's something that our staff had worked with a lot of the experts on to accommodate what we believe will be that infection rate within the homeless community. So that we have them in a facility, not in either isolation or quarantine, not taking up valuable hospital beds. Because even the hospitals themselves are referring persons out to quarantine and isolation to get them out of hospital beds. So we didn't want the homeless community going into the hospital, clogging the ERs, clogging hospital beds, where they're absolutely necessary for a person that needs a bed. It doesn't mean that the persons that are in this facility won't be in a hospital bed. We've already sent 2 to the hospital from this facility. So it really underscores something that, I'm going to go back to our encampment ordinance. We said from day one that was about public health. We continue to manage our streets from a public health standpoint. The ISOQ facility is about public health within the homeless community. And to be sure that within that community it's managed and that that community doesn't spread a public health problem beyond the homeless community. So it's a very significant and important facility.
And to say nothing of the following up ordinance where the sanitation element was put in to clean.
That's correct.
I mean, to me, the leadership of this city, again, and having been part of this U.S. Conference of Mayors, they have been looking to what we were doing in Las Vegas in these 2 areas, and I think it's most commendable. And now that we've stepped forward with this ISOQ is just tremendous, Mr. Ennis.
And I think I've mentioned to you that we have positioned it, and we are working through the FEMA funding process for it. It has been worked through the MACC and positioned for FEMA funding. So it is something we worked on right away, and it's been positioned for that funding, and we believe it will be federally funded. The other thing, speaking of federal funding, I've signed a certification through the U.S. Treasury Funding portal to allow us to start receiving federal funds under the CARES Act. Now, if there's ever a time where the old saying, show me the money, applies, it's right now. Because we still don't know exactly how much we will get, nor do we know the exact regulations that will apply to those funds. We are all over it. We literally could have money put in our bank account tomorrow, but we don't know. We think we will, but it's just like a lot of folks that have not yet received their stimulus checks, they're waiting for it with bated breath. And we're waiting for it with bated breath, hoping it comes through per the CARES Act to us. And then clearly, if we get it, it will be an integral part of our funding and budget balancing strategy going forward. And then finally, my last thing to report is I have signed for acceptance of 4 grants totaling $400,000 for 2 from UASI, 2 from Homeland Security that would allow us to purchase PPE. And I will be putting that on a future agenda for ratification, probably the first agenda in May. But because that was so critical and it's so important that we get PPE and that we get the federal government to pay for it, I did accept those funds so that we could get moving on the acquisition of more PPE for our frontline and all of our responders. We have a number of employee groups that are using PPE now daily in their activities, and we just need more of it. And I felt like if we can get the feds to pay for it, it takes less stress off the general fund to do so. So with those items, that's the end of my emerging issues report.
Well, I mean, I'd like to ask some questions, but I want to defer first to comments, questions that we would have here or on the phones to you. Mayor Pro Tem, go ahead, please.
Madam Mayor, Mr. Adams, first I just want to thank you so much for pulling in our unions and talking with them and not just a blanket surprise. And I also want to give my full heart and thanks to all of our unions that are willing to negotiate to make sure the city of Las Vegas stays afloat. And I just want to commend our unions and yourself for working together on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comment there? On the phones, any questions, comments for Mr. Adams before I go forward?
Madam Mayor, this is Councilman Knudsen. I just wanted to say that for Mr. Adams, he and I have been through something similar in the great downturn, and there really is no one better than to protect the interests of the city of Las Vegas and persevere with limited options. As you indicated, Mayor, it's a very, very strange and awkward time. And I trust Mr. Adams and the decisions he'll make, and I'm grateful for the city employees who have really been exemplary in a very strange time. For all of the conference calls and webinars I've been on, for every recommendation that comes to me, I pass it along to someone in the manager's office, and they've been acting on every single one of them. So I am grateful for the work of the city manager's office and the team at the city. And I also need to put on the record that I think my voice was muted on item number 36, and I was a yay on item number 36 for the city clerk. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Adams, knowing that the past 20 years we've been working so diligently to get our arms around our homeless population, to have them come in for help and get back into a positive life and out of the homeless pathway. We were not successful for 12 years. I know that during my husband's tenure. And it's really been in the past probably 4, 5, 6 years that we've really been making concerted successes of helping. What has happened, and thank you to our county partners for helping us with the ISOQ and getting that established. This is a way now that obviously we are able to touch many in the homeless community that preferred to stay homeless than to get our wraparound services. So looking at this and assuming that this shutdown is going to lift, when? Sooner is better, but that it's going to lift. Can I ask you, with your staff, to go ahead and develop a plan to go forward, both in the care and this embrace of bringing our homeless back out of the pathway? Because you have an opportunity here physically to touch different members of the homeless community and get them a real plan to become whole again.
Absolutely. We can formulate a plan for how the city of Las Vegas, as one unit of government within a large region, addresses its share of the region's homeless population. But as I've said previously, feel it's very important that it be viewed as a part of a bigger plan, and that there's a role to be played by all the other jurisdictions in the region to assuming their fair share of the homeless problem. And as you know, we went into the legislative session in 2019 with some funding requests that would have really moved the needle forward in accommodating the needs of homeless housing and homeless support. And what came out of that process was a study committee. I hope when we go back in the next session that we'll get more traction on the kind of resources we need to fully address the problem that we're experiencing, not just in the city, but because the city bears a large share of the brunt of the regional problem, but the region can address in meeting a unique homeless characteristic. We are disproportionately more homeless than any major city in the United States. For a city our size, we have a disproportionate problem. And it's for a lot of different factors. So I was really excited today to see us moving forward with the health clinic plan on the corner of Formaster and Main, because that has been in our plan from day one. We have had a plan that included a courtyard, that the courtyard would be populated by service providers, and that we had modules identified in that plan, one of which was a health clinic that would, in a broader sense, address the needs of our homeless population at their point of entry into the system, which is where the shelters are, where they tend to gravitate to, so that they can get the help they need. And we have been planning this, but we'll make a tighter plan as we go forward, because here's the thing, when we snap back or gradually drift back to normalcy, that is not going to go away. In fact, it may be worse, depending on what happens in the economy. Because we learned from the Great Recession that homelessness increased during the Great Recession, so I expect that homelessness may increase again during this.
I'm assuming that, Mr. Adams,
Yeah.
and that was going to be the second part of my comment. I really would like staff and you with leadership there to look at how this is going to affect us. When I heard last night during the governor's comments that already 300,000 applications for unemployment reimbursement, and the number is assumed at least at 900,000. We are going to have part of that population come to us. There needs to be a whole nother piece of this to help them. And that, to me, is a live human being. No more of this, just send us an email that nobody answers or give us a phone number that rings forever. I mean, the calls that we are getting pervasively at our end of the hallway are these people that just can't get through, can't talk to a human being. Everything is online or a phone that doesn't answer. So for these people that we know already, as stated by the governor's support commentary last night, they have 300,000 already. And I know they're at least a third of our population. So a whole nother look at how do we, in the immediacy, help these people before they become part of the homeless group as well.
Yes.
So if you would do that, I mean.
We absolutely will. I think one of our challenges, and you hit the nail on the head, Mayor, is we still don't have the data to show us the extent of the problem yet. We don't know, for example, what happened to C-Tax exactly. We don't know the full extent of unemployment. We know the leading indicator, the people that have applied and got through, but we know the trailing indicator, which is how many is that total, and what is going to be the full impact of that number on the region and on our city. And we're on it. I mean, I'll say our team is constantly calling into statistics. Gary, for example, pointed one out this morning, that the National Retail Index came out, the Census Index, this morning for March. The projection was they were going to drop 8% nationally in retail sales. That actually dropped 8.7%. So we're looking at every data point we can get to understand how it's going to impact the region and us in the city of Las Vegas. And clearly, as I mentioned in briefing yesterday, we're going to starting tomorrow, putting together our recovery strategy. And that recovery strategy will have an economic and social component to it, and it has to look at what will be the residual impacts of unemployment in the region and in the city.
Well, and as you well know, because we've talked about it all the time, is Nevada stands alone. It's a tourism place, and we have to have a plan. If this continues on, to get the hotels open, get their restaurants, get people back to work, we can't control the gaming, so that's a governor's call there. But we need to get the hotels and small businesses and our workers back in. And so the funnels that you create to help the different components of our community here in the city that we can have an impact on. And with the advice I've been giving that this isn't going away. This coronavirus is not going away. It's going to be here in a year. It may be a different strain, but it is something, as I said before, we can't put our heads in the sand. We need to get open. We need our people to work, or your homeless component is going to be far beyond what it was during the Great Recession. So I can't commend you enough. I can speak for all of the council, because certainly we have discussed this and the passion in each one of your council members. And as I look down at them and see them, I know with the phone calls that you're getting, they're because they can't get through anywhere else.
Right.
What do we do? How do we get it? Where are we going to live? What happens to us when we're being forgiven a month's rent, but next month we're going to have to pay 2 rents and we don't even have any income? We can't feed our children, for heaven's sakes. So in all of this, you can count on us. We are your partners through and through on this, and I can't commend you enough. And absolutely, your call to the other areas, the other governments, you need to be looking at your areas where you're going to be able to establish the housing and the care of our homeless contingent. So we thank you, Mr. Adams, so much, and the team that is all over the place here. We can't thank you enough. There are not enough hours, and talk about first responders and those who need to be thanked. But I really believe it's not a question of thanking people. We're supposed to be doing this as a society. We're put on this earth to do something positive and not being the entitled. We are here, and as city council, we're with you. Whatever we can do, count on us. And thank you very much. Thank you. And I could line up for your wife tons of customers looking around this room right now. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Adams. And was there anyone online or anyone else that wished to make any comment? Okay, and at this point, this is a report only, and we'll move on to agenda item 60. And I instruct the city clerk to set the public hearing dates and appeals from the City Planning Commission meetings in dangerous buildings or nuisance litter abatements.
Will do, thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we are on to our second and final public citizen participation. Citizen participation, public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No subject may be acted upon by the City Council unless that subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium, give your name for the record, the amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Of course, we will be taking public comment through Madam Clerk, through however they're coming in after we hear from the public that's here. This is your opportunity to address the council, but the council is not able to respond or engage in dialogue. And I know there's someone standing right in front of me, so I know there are members of the public that wish to address us all. So, please.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, City Councilman, Daniel Braisted, City of Las Vegas. I want to talk a little about health. And to start it is, if we had an aircraft carrier that was headed to a reef, the fastest way to turn that aircraft carrier is that some of the engines you pull full reverse, and the other engines you go full speed. So this is what's happening with the immunity, and I'm still working on this, but you're talking about the homeless. The problem with the homeless, we feed them crap food, and then we wonder why they aren't healthy, and they don't have a good feeling. So there's two different sides to being healthy. One is to increase the good food And 2 is to slash the negative food. And there's a sign, a marquee on a sign on a hospital on Maryland Parkway and DI, and it says, increase your vegetables and increase your fruits. But it doesn't say anything about cutting the negative foods. And you really can't cut the negative foods because the sugar lobbies and the soda lobbies and all the negative food lobbies are going to beat you up. And that's what we have to take into account, so we have to subtly bring it. But if you alkalize the body with electrons, then the electrons will neutralize the acidity in the weak part. So I'll cover this in the future. But the whole point is if you want to turn your health around, you have to do both. You have to have a savings account. You have to be learning new things. You have to get good sleep. So let's talk about the other part of it. It's called EMF. If you remember from your first grade science class, the first thing they do is put a compass and they put a wire across it. And when you turn the power on onto the wire, the needle moved to align with the wire. That's what EMF is doing. If you're sleeping under an electric blanket all night long, your cells are trying to align. And if it's an alternating current, it's flipping back and forth. Your microwave, it works by vibrating the water molecules in your food, okay? You've got computers, all these other things. 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G hurts your body, but you can't throw it out. The whole point is to increase your immunity system. And that's what we need to start considering. That's why government needs to talk about improving immunity system. And thank you. There isn't a clock here. It'd be nice if there was a clock when you're in the middle.
Good suggestion. We'll do
Thank you.
that. That would be very good if we could do that, Madam Clerk. Anyone else, please come forward, state your name for the record. Can you push me that, please? Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, Council. Todd Inglesby, representing the Professional Firefighters of Nevada. Just wanted to let you all know and acknowledge our men and women who are out there on the front lines serving your constituents. We're your fire department. Just want you to know the job that they're doing. Also, we have men and women every day going down to the ISAQ who are screening the homeless, so we can obviously make an impact on that too as well. We're here to help federally with our representatives, state with our representatives. We've been talking to them on a daily basis to make sure we get the money that our state needs and our city needs. And just wanted to let you know, at the same time, we have about 40 people who have been affected by either through isolation or quarantine. We've only had 4 positive tests, but all men and women are still showing up every day and serving our citizens, and that's it. Thank you.
Well, we thank you so very much. It really makes a difference, but that's what family's about. You know, when somebody gets sick in the family, everybody comes to help. And so we're so grateful to you and grateful to the union and to everybody that's part of the larger Las Vegas family. We can't thank you enough. Please make sure you get the word out and tell them to take care and know how grateful every single human being that lives in this community is to them. Thank you. Anyone else, please come forward, state your name for the record. And if you would, sir, remove your hat.
Oh, yes, sorry.
That's right. And if you had your mask up, that would be fine, but I'd ask to peek at you so we could see, good, because we want to see who you are.
It's the best I can do for PPE, you know, it's an old firefighter bandana for keeping the smoke out of my lungs when I used to do that in the summers. Yeah, Michael Garwood, second time here. This is great. I really miss those monthly LVCVA meetings, so I get to talk to you and the other folks then. Maybe we'll have one next month. Got some ideas on how we can revive our economy, if that's even possible, when the shutdown's over. But I hope lots and lots of people were hearing what you were saying earlier today about how this is unnecessary and all that stuff, and you know, make YouTube videos out and share it with their friends all over the internet or something like that. So I'd love to have a moment of Mr. Adams' time afterwards, because I've been keeping myself busy with no other job to do, feeding the homeless down at St. Joseph's Church on 9th and Ogden. And my aunt in Idaho just texted me, hey, we're making some cloth masks. Do you need some? I said, well, send them straight to the church. We could use them down there, Father Creer and people like that, you know. I just got this little thing. So, yeah, just generally, you're doing a great job. I hope more people were more sensible about the risks and all that, and you're right. I keep texting and Facebooking people and says, if you think we're going to stay quarantined long enough where the thing disappears, you're wrong. That's not how infectious diseases work. We're stuck with this, so we can keep shooting ourselves in the foot economically until it's too late to recover from. I don't know. So throw caution to the wind. And onward from there and hope for the best is all we can do, and hope people will still want to come here when they're allowed to leave their own homes in their own respective other states and countries and stuff like that. So, and one more thing related to that, just regular city business, the redo of 3rd Street south of here, why did you guys remove the free parking spaces along the curb there? That's where I would usually park for free when I had to go to court for something. So just a minor complaint. Bye.
Thank you very much for coming down. Appreciate it. Anyone else? And how about on our e-comments?
We have one, thank you, Mayor. From Delphine Proud, hi, I am extremely worried about the 5G network. I understand that there's a lot of money to be made here and that those companies are putting up more towers in our communities. I'm sure you understand the negative effect that 5G towers has on human body. What are you currently doing to assure that we, the residents of Las Vegas, are staying safe and healthy? Thank you so much for your time.
That's it, just one. Thank you very much, and thank you for sending in. And so we will now close that public participation and move on to agenda item 62, council member recognition. Comments made by individual city council members during this portion of the agenda will not be acted upon by the city council unless the subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. Do we have any member of council who wishes to speak under this portion? We'll start with those who are on the phone. Councilman Creer, any comments here?
Just one is that for people who are looking for more information about what's going on, you can always go to LasVegasNevada.gov/Ward 5 and sign up for our newsletter. We are getting information out once or twice a week, and as the information gets updated, then we continue to put information into our newsletter. So please subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I believe I have a few slides if Luann could let me know if they're ready to go on the first one with the census.
Yes, you're right up there. When the census
Okay,
it starts
thank you.
with.
I do want to take the time to celebrate that we as a city have attained a 50% response rate for the census, and that is good news because in light of the times that we are in, we will need every dollar that we need to service for education, housing, healthcare. All of the money will be needed to make sure that we render the care we need to for our residents. So make sure that if you haven't participated or filled out your census response, that you do so because we need to get to 100%, and we want to make sure that we all get counted. I just want to also highlight that we have the business protection program still going strong for small businesses that are in the city's redevelopment area to reimburse expenses for securing buildings up to $2,000. We do have to receive your application before the emergency is lifted, and you do need to secure the building and include a decorative facade that then our Department of Economic and Urban Development will go to inspect. If you have any questions about this program, please call Tara Anderson at 702-229-6865, or the email's listed right there in the slide too. You can email her as well. I want to give a special thank you to two community members who stepped up and asked what they could do to help us out in these times. Maria Orbelina Herrera and Maria Dolores Dominguez made handmade masks for us to distribute to especially those points of food distribution that were having a hard time securing PPE early on because most of the PPE was going to hospitals and clinics and making sure that people that were interfacing more with the identification of COVID had it. But there were so many other selfless volunteers going out there and still handing out food. And we made sure that we gave these handmade masks to some of those points where the food distribution was happening. So thank you so much to both Marias for the service they provided to the citizens of our community. Just wanted to let you know that tune in tomorrow for my City Access taping. We talked a little bit about Silver Star routes with RTC. We talked about amazing technological advances that we're making in our building and business, our building department with Kevin McCosker in terms of using technology for inspections and uploading plans. So I hope that you have some time and you guys can tune in. And as always, we're distributing the updates and the information that we have on hand through our different social media platforms. So I wish everyone to stay healthy and safe still.
Thank you, Councilwoman, and I hope you did get a bit to see the tour that I did with Melissa Duran of the PIO on Ward 3, down Main Street, down Fremont Street, to encourage everybody to come look at the great artwork that's being done on the boarded up buildings, and also to come down and populate our restaurants through their takeouts and drive-throughs. We have a great creative bunch of owners of buildings, of restaurants, and it's just that they have really stepped to the plate trying to figure out how to give employment as well as to provide food and make some funds. So that's on Hello Mayor. It happens to be, it's a picture walk through Ward 3. So, and a little bit of Ward 5 too. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. And it was fun.
Thank you so much
Great
for making
people.
sure you highlighted those businesses still going strong, Mayor. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. No, it was super fun. And Councilman Knudsen.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and for everyone on the phone and in attendance. I just want to say I'm grateful to be elected to Ward 1 and represent the city of Las Vegas. I wanted to remind everyone, I'm still very busy. I do it very differently now on the phone and in webinars and things that I don't completely understand, but the information is coming through very clearly to me. My contact information, in addition to the city's call center, is still very much available. So for the city's call center, it's 229-CARE, that's 229-2273. And for those who need assistance from the city, I'm still available and I get calls regularly. I'm at bknudsen@lasvegasnevada.gov. My personal cell phone and work cell phone is 702-493-1547. And Mayor, I found myself answering a lot of calls not related to the city. As you've mentioned, there's lots of issues with unemployment, with some of the state services, with some of the county services. And I have relationships at the state and the county. And so for anyone who's watching who needs help with some of those systems that aren't working in other parts of our state, I remain available. And this is my phone that I'm calling in from. It's available to everyone at 702-493-1547. And Mayor, I loved watching the Hello Mayor because it was a great reminder of how amazing downtown is. And I was one of the first customers at Rebar to pick up my bottle of spirits and my hot dog because I think right now is the best time to support local businesses. And so I continue to support local businesses, and everyone listening should do that as well. Thank you very much, Mayor. I appreciate it.
Well, and also, I mean, as you mentioned, I know your staff's in a great deal, as are you, on the 7th floor and sometimes with members of your community. But I know that the coffee pub on our side of Sahara, actually both sides of Sahara at Rancho, where the Palace Station is, and behind it, there's an island there in the county that's part of the city. But the coffee pub, and there's so many of these great restaurants that we frequent all the time on a day-to-day basis around the city and in all the wards. But knowing that the coffee pub, you can order, you can do that. Rachel's Kitchen, you can do it. Esther, I mean, you can do it everywhere, and that's the whole thing, is keep our people employed, keep our businesses alive until this veil is lifted. So thank you, Councilman, and we do see you frequently in the building, so it's really supportive and helpful to your constituents. So let's move now down to Ward 2. Happy Ward 2.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I first want to thank you for your statement on the urgency for a plan to get Nevadans back to work. It is an honor and privilege to work with you and this council. And I want to say thank you to our staff for working so hard during this time. And I want to get to my slides now. Okay. What I want to say is I want to just reiterate what everybody else has said. We are here to answer your phone calls with issues and concerns at 702-229-2420. You can email us at ward2@lasvegasnevada.gov. And for that general city information, call 702-229-CARE. So everyone stay safe out there, and thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And for championing our First Amendment rights with the religious services that were held over Easter, and a belated happy Passover and happy Easter to everyone. And Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor. As most of you know, today is April 15th. It's Federal Income Tax Day. But just like the City of Las Vegas is extending some of the deadlines for our fees, the federal government is extending the deadline to file your income taxes. So I just want you to know that, sir, you're not going crazy trying to file your income taxes today. And if I could read from the, oh, shoot, I had it here. Yeah, let me read from the IRS website. Taxpayers can defer federal income tax payments due on April 15th to July 15th, 2020 without penalties and interest regardless of the amount owed. This deferment applies to all taxpayers, including individuals, trusts and estates, corporations, and other non-corporate tax filers, as well as those who pay self-employment tax. Taxpayers do not need to file any additional forms or call the IRS to qualify for this automatic federal tax filing and payment relief. Individual taxpayers who need additional time to file beyond July 15th can file a form. However, if you are due a refund, you should probably file your taxes as soon as possible so you get that check. So that's number one. And second, this weekend, the Greek Orthodox, or the Orthodox Easter, will be observed throughout the world. So on behalf of the Orthodox community here in Las Vegas and the Greek Orthodox community, happy Easter. Thank you.
Very nice, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And so I just first have to thank you, Madam Mayor, and Councilwoman Seaman for literally being a champion of our religious services. State and church is separate, and I just thank you guys for stepping up and making the month of April is our highest, holiest day. Between, we had Palm Sunday, Passover, Good Friday, Easter. We have the Orthodox Easter. On April 23rd, we have Ramadan coming. So the month of April is a very, very holy holiday. So I just want to thank the both of you for getting our religious services a way where they can actually preach. So thank you, ladies. So I will start with Happy Ramadan. It starts April 23rd, and it goes for 30 days all the way to May 23rd. Then we have on our next slide, I don't know how you guys are ordering, Earth Day. Earth Day is, so Earth Day is important because I know from our office, Chance Bonaventura gathers people. Right now, we can't gather people to do cleanup. So this is 50 years of Earth Day, which is April 22nd. So just do cleanups, plant trees, don't litter. It's really important to all of you Earthlings that we keep Earth nice. And then I gotta say, Councilman Anthony has talked about our tax day is now July 15th, so I won't repeat all of that. And then next we have, I'm going to have an outside distance separation. All events will meet our governor's regulations this Friday, April 17th from 9 to 10 a.m. In front of the YMCA, outside of the YMCA. Last time we only had 2 people, so I'm still in that, less than 10 people gathering. But just to make sure that we help our neighbors and each other through this time to make sure that if anyone needs anything, food, any help, we're here to support you. Also, do you have the slide of Nikki? Do you have Nikki? There we go. So this is one of our city angels, Nikki, and this is Nikki, I'm gonna chop up her last name, but I say Govaluth, but it's, she works for the city for many, many years, big heart. She is fighting, the virus right now, and I just wanna let her and her husband Carl and all of the people that work with Nikki know that here at the city, we are here for her. And with this national prayer type, thank goodness it is a holy month, so please say your prayers for Nikki just to strengthen her immune system and pull her out. And then we will go to our next slide. We will go to this beautiful Ariel Montgomery. She's only 13 years old. She's a female, light brown hair. Her eyes are light brown. She's African American. She was last seen in the area of Pecos and Bonanza. So please, if you see Ariel, please call Las Vegas Metro Police at 702-828-3111 or Nevada Child Seekers at 702-458-7009. And then we have a 12-year-old beautiful little girl, Imea Cochran. She's 5 feet, 75 pounds. Her eyes are dark brown. Her hair is black. She's African American. She was last seen in the area of Lake Mountain Drive and Boulder City Parkway in Boulder City. She was last seen wearing pink pants and a shirt with pink slippers. So please call Boulder City Police at 702-293-9224 or Nevada Child Seekers at 702-458-7009. And we have our Corridor of Hope, our homeless success stories. This is Miss Castillo and her children who came to the Courtyard Homeless Resource Center, known as HRC, for assistance. Ms. Castillo is a single parent with 6 children. They were experiencing homelessness and unable to provide for themselves. The opportunity presented itself for this family to participate in the city's flexible housing program through the city Courtyard HRC, which is our Homeless Resource Center. With the assistance of case management, the family created a goal-driven case plan which would enable Ms. Castillo to obtain employment and seek permanent housing. Commodities were also provided by the Courtyard to assist the family with their needs for everyday living. While in the program, the family became more stable, the kids began attending school and met appropriate nutrition needs. Their return to school will allow the mother time for employment during school hours. The Courtyard HRC understands the trials and tribulations this family has experienced with homelessness. Through the Courtyard's team's assistance, this family completed their case plan with flying colors, and they moved into permanent housing last month. Wow. So congratulations, our Courtyard and our staff is really doing a great job, and thank you so much.
Wow. Boy, that's a high. Beautiful. Well, I guess we're adjourned at this point until May 6th. This is our next meeting. We'll be here in chambers, as will be our planning and recommending. But I want to thank our fabulous staff for pulling us all continuously together and working through this as a team. I thank our IT, our city clerk staff, everyone that is part of this family. And while you don't get individual recognition as the somebody of the month or the day, we expect it as family that we all do our part, and we do it because we love this community and love what we do and have a great deal of compassion and a big heart. And so IT, thank you very much for hanging in there with us, despite that you were a little slow at the start today. We thank you. We wish you good health. Keep your hygiene at its top level. Wash your hands. Do all the things that we've been told since we were little people, and stay healthy. And let's hope that this big, heavy thing in our head gets moved out soon. Thank you, and we are adjourned.
Councilwoman Olivia Diaz
has left the conference.
Brian Knudsen.